Hello, my name is Linda Langeheine, and welcome to my channel. Today, we'll look at possibilities to prepare for an important performance. We spend a lot of time in the practice room, hours, days, years, decades. Yet, we spend too little time performing in comparison. Many of us have found out unpleasantly that performing is completely different from our cozy practice space. So we spend a disproportionate amount of time preparing compared to doing, that is, executing what we've prepared. When we get out onto the stage, what a shock. Our bodies and minds are suddenly unrecognizable. Of course, there are performers that feel more than comfortable in the limelight on the stage. They love to perform. Most of us, however, would like to perform, but are apprehensive about how well we can do under pressure. And performing with people watching is definitely a stressful situation. I'd like to propose ways to get ready for the big day by incorporating performance preparation into your practice schedule. There are two kinds of performance preparation: mental and active. Let's look at the mental side first. Mental training can be divided into what I call mental practice for learning and mastering a skill, and mental training for enhancing performance, which can also include imagining or visualizing the performance in the first person, in your mind, of course, and observational training, which includes watching performances of exceptional experts, as well as self-regulation techniques. Situation anticipation includes imagining oneself performing or imagining watching another person performing over there, and then stepping into that person, which makes a deep impression on the brain. I probably don't have to go into detail about what happens with our brains and bodies when we have performance anxiety. Our minds register this unfamiliar situation as dangerous and sends out all sorts of signals and chemicals to make us get out of there. If you have to draw a violin bow slowly and softly over the string, this alarm miscall will lead you to involuntary bow vibrato for sure. Somehow, we've got to get the mind not to register performance situations as life-threatening, so we can keep a clear mind and trust ourselves to just play. In mental training, we use self-regulation techniques to calm ourselves when excited, or to keep ourselves calm. Let's look at a few of these. Right. Students in a treatment group were asked to indicate a value that was most important to them, and to write a brief paragraph explaining why they thought this value was an important one. These students who wrote about qualities that are important to them seem to have enhanced their sense of self-worth and value, which may in turn buffer them against negative expectations and their consequences. And they performed better in a test situation than they had done before the experiment. Just try this. Think about what is important in your life and spend a few minutes writing about it. Do this daily during the week leading up to the performance. Write about your concerns. In one study, those students who wrote for 10 minutes about their worries before a math test performed roughly 15% better than the students who sat and did nothing before the exam. Writing about your worries before a test, presentation, or recital can prevent choking. Talk about your concerns. New research shows that talking about your worries does more than make you feel better. It may actually change the workings of your brain when the pressure is on. The end result is better test performance under stress. Putting your feelings into words changes how the brain deals with stressful situations. Whatever you are feeling, label it, give it a name. Pick out a word to describe it. Don't just think the word, say it out loud. It's actually putting these feelings into words and spoken that does the trick. Meditate. Psychologists and neuroscientists have recently discovered that the age-old practice of meditation helps extinguish distracting and worrisome thoughts that plague us in stressful times. Even when not meditating, people who practice this tradition are better than those who don't at facilitating their brain's return to a calm, cool, and collected state when stressful events come their way. For your performance situation, meditation improves recovery from the distractions induced by spontaneous thought. If you practiced well, you can just let it roll, just let it go. Let your playing, let your singing go. You can do it. The only danger is disrupting the playing that is being powered from an unconscious level by the conscious action of our monkey minds, by the intrusion through unsettling thoughts. Breathing. Deep breathing is one of the best ways to lower stress in the body. This is because when you breathe deeply, it sends a message to your brain to calm down and relax. The brain then sends this message to your body. Those things that happen when you are stressed, such as increased heart rate, fast breathing, and high blood pressure, all decrease as you breathe deeply to relax. The way you breathe affects your whole body. Breathing exercises are a good way to relax, reduce tension, and relieve stress. Try the 4-7-8 breathing. This exercise also uses belly breathing to help you relax. You can do this exercise either sitting or lying down. To start, put one hand on your belly and the other on your chest. Take a slow, deep breath from your belly and silently count to 4 as you breathe in. Hold your breath and silently count from 1 to 7. Breathe out completely as you silently count from 1 to 8. Try to get all the air out of your lungs by the time you reach 8. Repeat 3 to 7 times or until you feel calm. Of course, you can use any counting length you want if 7 or 8 counts make you feel anxious. Simply exhale slowly. Notice the pause between the exhalation and the inhalation. While we're at it, let's do my favorite breathing exercise. It's also the simplest. Let your body inhale by itself. Then breathe out slowly and pleasantly, feeling comfortable the entire time. As you proceed, you might want to lengthen your exhalations. Always in the most comfortable way. Don't force it. Observe the pauses between the breaths. Before performance, you might try this breathing exercise, or at any time actually. From a standing position, bend forward from the waist with your knees slightly bent, letting your arms dangle close to the floor. As you inhale slowly and deeply, return to a standing position by rolling up slowly, lifting your head last. Hold your breath slightly, just slightly, in the standing position. Exhale slowly as you return to the original position, bending forward from the waist. Now, let's look at possibilities to actively practice performance. Here you want to transfer the psychoregulative skills practiced in the less stressful setting to real training conditions. Studies have shown that training under pressure helps ensure success when it counts the most. Practicing under mild levels of stress can prevent you from choking when high levels of stress come around. So how do we go about this? Number 1, perform daily. Set up situations where you experience more pressure than just your usual practice conditions. Perform your piece before you are completely warmed up. It's an awkward feeling, but useful for learning to cope with it. Perform more officially by doing a recording, sometimes just the audio, sometimes a complete video. Do this sometimes at the beginning of your practice time, sometimes at the end. Do this only one time. This simulates the concert situation better than recording, correcting, recording again. You might want to do this often at the actual performance time, say 8 p.m. 2, find other settings to perform with low stress potential. Play in every senior residence in town. Invite friends to a house concert. Do a TikTok performance. Play for the dog. In these low-stress situations, release your thinking brain from all responsibility. When worries and self-doubt flood the brain, it's very hard for the brain and you to function properly. The tendency to overthink your performance is one big predictor of whether you will choke. Limiting the thinking brain can increase your possibility of success. The famous cellist Janis Starker used to tell his students to perform from memory while reading the newspaper out loud. 3, need I mention the importance of the choice of piece you'll perform? Play pieces you know well if you're not a seasoned performer. The more you love the piece, the better. If you'd like to play a piece in a concert, learn it, let it rest for a while, then relearn it for the performance. This time, include performance practice. 4, if while performing your monkey mind starts to intervene, practice letting go, concentrating on your breath, or using a trigger word like smooth or relax, even whispered very softly. This technique needs to be practiced many times during practice room run-throughs and many recitals. Here's where your meditation practice is also useful. 5, play through the piece mentally, using the flow method of just enjoying the piece in your mind without mentally practicing it. Watch my video, Advanced Mental Practice, to learn how. There you go. The next time you have a performance to prepare for, use some or all of these methods daily. The pro doesn't take failure personally or success personally. This is simply what you do and do well. Thank you for watching. If you have a special way to prepare for a performance, please share it in the comments section.